taking three.
Going for the St. Louis now.
Oh no!
Son of a bitch.
You get your two?
Yeah. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thotgor here, of course, and Happy New Year to everyone as well. Hopefully you all had an excellent New Year's. And again, I definitely did. Really had a good time. Obviously didn't get a video out yesterday because I was recovering, so we're back today with more fun. Now, you can see I've got, well, you'll see, I do have two clips. The first one we're looking at is in the Marblehead. Now I'm showing this clip because it was so fast. Everything happened so quick, and that's why I wanted to take a look at it here. And when I say fast and quick, I mean, the battle is going to end here. I think this is a 10-minute clip, so into 10 minutes, the battle's going to end, and it really shows you what happens when, the enemy team, or it works the same way, your team, if you just don't have basic coordination, you just don't have, the basic skills to work together as a group, or as, maybe a few separate groups, that, no chance. There's just no chance in hell. You might be able to get away with it at the earlier tiers, maybe tier 2, tier 3, but definitely at tier 5, not so much. It's just not going to happen very often. Now, that being said, I mean, I do still come across it from time to time, and main reason why I keep my Marblehead here as well is because it's so fun to play at these this tier 5 level. Because sometimes, when it does happen, it's amazing, like this battle here. So you can see on New Dawn, and I'm going to be heading right over to, not the west side, but what I usually do on this map, depending on where my team has spawned, but usually and typically on this side, majority of your ships are going to spawn, so it favors you taking north and center, right? And so then what I normally do is I go and take the center. This is normally where the B cap would be if it was 3 cap point map here, but anyway, that's where I normally go. And the reason why I normally go into this area in my cruiser is because this is normally where the enemy destroyers are going to go. They are going to go into the middle, and they're going to try and tort people, either as they're going north or south, and so that puts you in an excellent position as being in a cruiser to deal with that. Have to be careful with this. I mean, you don't want to overstretch yourself, right? You don't want to overcommit and just go into the center unsupported. So this is how I normally like to do it. You can see here I've come around the island, right, and I'm not just going now into the center. No, I'm going to strafe along, and I can do this because I have the range in this Marblehead. Keep in mind I have my advanced firing training for the captain, so that equates to a longer range here. Normally I think the range on the Marblehead without it is about 12 kilometers, and that was not necessarily one of the drawbacks of the Marblehead compared to, say, the Murmansk or the Omaha. It was just a quirk of it, I guess. But now I don't have to deal with it because I've got good range now that I've got advanced firing training on it. So, again, getting back to the strategy here, just taking pot shots at ships that come up. Now, I'm taking shots at the Murmansk here off in the distance first. The reason for it is the Murmansk is probably the biggest threat right now. He's back there with some really good range, really good guns, just like I have. Well, I mean, they're different guns, right? But they're still good. And he can do some effective damage to me and to my allies. So, as soon as he popped up there, I took shots off at him. Now I'm shooting at this Phoenix. So, obviously, armor piercing is loaded. It was loaded for the Murmansk as well because it's an Omaha class ship, right? Just required. So, first shot goes into the Phoenix. Get a nice citadel out of that. That wasn't too bad at all. And just continue to put more shots. There's another citadel into him. If we can just get this guy gone, that'll be a big help for everyone because he's fairly close. I mean, he was quickly the closest target to me that I saw. You might have quickly noticed the Clemson off to the port side. Yes, there he is. So I killed the Omaha. Quickly turn over to Clemson. Oh, poor Clemson. No engines. There we go. He's gone, and that's my double strike. So that's not too bad at all. Fairly happy with that. Even though I had armor piercing loaded against the destroyer, rather than load up the HE and wait the extra few seconds, I just shot whatever I had off into him, and it worked out in my favor. So that was pretty great. So now we've got some enemy ships, you'll notice, that are starting to move up the east side of the map. We can't see a whole lot of them right now because they're more or less southeast, but these guys I'm looking at here, there's other ships with them, and they're going to start pushing up the east. You'll also notice that there's an enemy battleship going straight up to the north on the west side. This guy is useless. I'm not even going to go bothered to deal with him because he's just taken himself out of the game. By doing that, yeah, he's out of the game. The most he can hope to do is get a few hits here and there and do a bit of damage here and there, and that's about it. So not even going to bother chasing that guy down, just a complete waste of time. So now I'm, circling back and I'm going towards the east because I want to try and cut these guys who are heading up the east side off. There is a Kuma, so immediately start putting shots into the Kuma. I do have high explosive loaded. I really should have gotten out the old armor piercing for the Kuma. I just wasn't thinking, I guess. Anyway, retrospect, right? Hindsight is always 20/20. Anyway, putting shots into the Kuma, he's almost gone now. I do have a considerable amount of allies around me who are really helping to support here as well. So final shots go into the Kuma, and an ally gets the kill. So fantastic, he's gone. There is an enemy destroyer. So high explosive is loaded. That's a great coincidence. So I'm going to start firing off at this guy. You'll notice that there are two torpedoes coming in, right? So I see that, but the enemy destroyer is popping in and out of visibility, so I do pop my sonar ability. Luckily I do, because it lets me see the other torpedoes that were coming, and I'm easily able to avoid those torpedoes. So that was great. And had I, continued forward, I don't know if I would have been able to avoid that second torpedo strike coming in. So fairly good maneuver there. Well, the enemy destroyer, he's gone away. I can't really get shots off at him over the hill there, but there are other ships around, like enemy Myogi over there, so tier 4 battleship. His death is on its way. Look at that. 6 torpedoes on their way into him from the my ally Minikaze, so yeah, not a whole lot he can do, and he's gone. So that was a good kill by my ally there, so not too shabby at all. And you notice my allies, they were taking care, like the allies that I was originally with, right, pushing into the center. Well, most of them continued on to the south. You can see them working their way down there, specifically 2 of the destroyers. And those 2 destroyers are really doing work down there. Like, they are just taking out the enemy ships that are around. And then they're going to move in and they're going to start capping right away. So that is fantastic. Now, looking at these enemies here that were coming up the east, you can see I'm in a position now to sort of deal with these guys. So immediately just start putting shots into them. Armor piercing is loaded. Omaha off in the distance there that I'm targeting. So yeah, fantastic. We've got more enemy ships coming as well, but again, not a big concern for me because I've got a lot of ally support up here. And bringing it back to just having the basic ability to work together in a big group or in a few smaller groups, you can see it here, right? Like, look how effectively my team is working together. Maybe not necessarily 100% focusing fire, but definitely dealing with the targets that are coming up, and defending our base, while basically the other half of my team is down there moving into a position to help cap the enemy base. And in fact, we are capping the enemy base right now. The enemies, on the other hand, no, they just completely failed. They more or less, the majority of their team did go up the east side, like where these enemies are now. You can tell that was their main objective here. For whatever reason, I don't know why, and even though most of them did decide to go this way, they weren't able to work together effectively. And look at the slaughter that's unfolding in front of us. it's really something else. So yeah, this is a team-oriented game, right? So you always have to be able to do something with your team, not just get too frustrated with the idiocy around you, and actually try to do something, I guess. It's really important, because at least if you're trying to do something, and you have a few people supporting you, or you're supporting a few people, it is more than likely has better chances of actually doing something, of actually succeeding, than if you were to just do it on your own, and have to face off against multiple chips all on your own, right? Just makes sense. Anyway, enemy Nicholas off in the distance there. We're putting some final shots into this guy. I'm going to try and get him killed before the game actually ends, because you'll notice my team is just capping the enemy base without, any sort of opposition right now. We almost have it, and that's what I was talking about, this being such a quick battle here. So last few salvos going out into the Nicholas, they don't actually make it there, and the battle ends, and we win. We're going to take a look at the overall results, and again, these results will speak to how quick the battle took place. So look at this. I was the only one to get over 1,000 experience, even on my team. It was a quick battle, like I say. It didn't even make the 10-minute mark here once I got it all edited down and into today's video. So that was something else. Anyway, looking at the next clip I have here, this is a battle in the Thotgor I had. Now, I'm showing this clip because I know we talked about it before, maybe a refresher, or maybe we're just mentioning it again, but you know how important it is to remember that kills are not everything. They just aren't. If you can take and defend a base, you will get a whole bunch of points. Just a whole bunch of points. And it equates to experience, money, which just equates to you getting your ships faster, right? And having more money and being able to do more with that money that you want in terms of buying new ships, module upgrades, and whatnot. So, you gotta try, especially for me, because, you know, I'm grinding shit out here. I'm not... I could right now just buy a bunch of tier 10s, but I'm not going to be doing that. Grinding stuff out is what I'm doing here so that I can learn along the way, and it's so important. And by grinding things out, this is what I've learned. Well, one of the things that I've learned, you know, you have to be efficient when you're playing. And I know it's really hard because I have the battles too, right? We have a whole series dedicated, at the Ever Wonder series, dedicated to my and our derp moments where we're trying our damnedest, but for whatever reason we just blow up right at the beginning. It's tragic. But anyway, you got to try and play as efficiently as possible in order to get as much experience and money so that you can move up as quick as possible without actually having to rely on free experience, converting free experience, that is, you know, using gold to do so. I've been thinking about it though. I might be doing it, but you know, not wholeheartedly. Anyway, and that's what I wanted. That's why, you know, I want to take another look at this video, or take a look at this video here, because that's sort of what it shows off as well. So you can see I'm moving into the west side of the map, right? I do have some allies who are coming to support me. That's pretty great, but the majority of my team is going to be going the east side. So immediately, yeah, we're looking at defense. This A point is going to be mine. Essentially, I'm just going to take the point and defend it this entire game, and hopefully the team around me can at least keep one other point, right? So that's what I'm going to be doing, and that's my plan. In the Thotgor here, you'll notice at this time anyway, it's fully upgraded now. I've got the better hull on it. I did lose main battery in order to put on better anti-aircraft armaments. Now, I always do this on my Japanese destroyers. They start this at the Fubuki, right? At the Fubuki, you can have 2 turrets on the back, or you can get the upgraded hull, and it gives you the extra AA. Probably thinking, why would I want extra AA on a destroyer? It's always turned off. This is very true. But there are 2 things that I like. There's a nice torpedo hit on a ship, actually, that I wasn't even aiming at. I think it was an Admiral Hipper is what it turned out to be. But anyway, you know, you don't use your AA on a destroyer, so why would you want the extra AA? Yeah, 2 things I noticed. So, first, when you get the upgraded hull and you lose the turret, the turret seems to have a weight value, maybe a hidden value right on the ship, and I just find, and also it does show you, this was tragic, but it does show you as well when you get the hull upgrade, it makes your ship more maneuverable. I like having that extra maneuverability. It's really important, and it just caters to my play style, complements me, so that is what I really am going to be going after on these Japanese destroyers. So I did it on the Fubuki, did it on the Thotgor. Second thing, enemy aircraft carriers, if they are smart, and there are a lot of smart aircraft captains out there, not as many as there are stupid, but there are a lot of smart ones. And we have been seeing more aircraft carriers as of late, right? So this is something to keep in mind. They will take their fighter planes and they will put them right over you, and they will keep you lit the entire game. Right? If they're smart, that's what they're going to be doing, as long as they don't have other more important things to do. So if you have extra AA on your destroyer, you are better able to shoot down those planes, because in that sort of situation, it's not going to help anyone if you just leave your guns off and maybe pop smoke and try and hide in the smoke. Well, you'll be hidden probably for the time that the smoke is up, but then you're not hidden anymore. You're not going to be able to run away, so you got to turn your guns on, you got to shoot down those planes. So that is why I always get the final hull upgrade on these Japanese destroyers. It sacrifices the main artillery, but the main artillery on a Japanese destroyer is not your primary armament. It just isn't. So I don't see it as being a questionable thing. I do it. just right off the bat. Now, in addition to this, I also have the upgraded torpedoes on the ship as well, on the Thotgor here as well. So that's a 20-kilometer range on these torpedoes. Really like these torpedoes. In fact, there's another nice torpedo hit on an Amagi out there. He just sailed straight into it. So it was pretty great. Now, getting back into the battle, you can see that the enemy has taken this point, right? That's fine. I'm not willing to go in here and just cap it just yet. Well, I wasn't while I was explaining all this stuff about the destroyers. You can see at this point I am, right? I'm starting to make my move into the point. And the reason for this is that a lot of these enemy ships now, they know that I'm here, but they can't see me. So they're afraid. They don't want to come in here and face a bunch of torpedoes. I also have another Allied destroyer with me here as well, Shimakaze. So, same thing. They just don't want to take the chance, come in here, and get wrecked. So they're going to be keeping their distance and they're going to be sniping. This works just so well for your destroyers, because now you can move in. I can take the point. I can spot things like there's some planes, so immediately start turning away. I don't want those planes to spot me. And because of the range of my torpedoes, I can now start firing off at the enemy ships that are all clustered up back here, trying to take pot shots at my allied ships who are behind me, my battleships and my cruisers. And it works out really well. So yeah, it's just the thing to do. Like, don't get too overzealous, I guess, with your trying to take a point. Be comfortable when you actually do go in there, that you can get in there stealthily, and that you can hold this point until Allied reinforcements come, or you cap it, and you get yourself in a better position where you can attack the enemies. And you can see now, like, the enemy ships that were over here on the west are more or less in a full retreat, right? We've got these guys running, at least sort of running. They're trying to attack us from different directions now, to test the flanks and stuff. But it's not really working out very well for them. So we're capping our third point now, we are losing our most northern point. A destroyer, I think it was a destroyer, enemy ship anyway, came up the middle of the map, and he's capping it right now. So I'm not willing to go back there and deal with him. There are some ally ships I have in vicinity that are closer to me. And so, for that reason, I just don't want to go back. Because I do have a lot of enemy ships off here in front of me, right? And I'm working these guys over with my Shimakaze friend as well, getting a few torpedo hits here and there. And that's fine. I'm fine with just whittling down enemy HP like this. I don't expect to get a kill, with like 4 or 5 torpedo hits all in one salvo at these ranges. No. At these sorts of ranges, you can expect 1 or 2 torpedo hits, maybe, on a target that you're firing at, maybe, right? That's all you can expect. But the torpedoes are great. They do a whole crap ton of damage. So really, it's a good trade-off, I find, anyway. And when, you'll notice I'm doing it here, when you're cycling through your torpedoes like I am right now, you're not always waiting, right, a minute something for your torpedoes, and then you fire both off at a target, and that spread just completely misses, and now it's just completely wasted, right? I'm cycling through like this to give myself the best chance of getting torpedo hits on targets. There's an enemy destroyer. Unfortunate for this guy, on fire and whatnot. I don't think his engines are gone, or if they are, he has last stand, and that gives you, last stand is, really, really a requirement at tier 4 for a destroyer, I feel anyway, because it gives you the ability to still run your ship at 20% power if your engine or if your steering is knocked out. Really, really effective, especially if you're waiting on a cooldown. You're not just going to be stuck there, dead in the water, or in this crazy turn, or, it is really important. I would recommend everyone get it. In the process of all this that's going on, right, like we did lose our northern point. A was being contested by that destroyer, but the destroyer is gone now, so I'm able to hold this A point for us. In D, we still have D. But while all of this is going on, like, look at so far, like the hits and the damage and the stuff that I've managed to do so far. It's not really that much. Where I'm getting all my points right now is from the fact that I'm getting defense points, and I have the capture base, right? I have the whole capture base. I didn't do it assisted with anyone. I have all those points. So that is really where I'm gaining a lot of experience and credits in this battle so far. No kills. I'm not going to get any kills. But it doesn't matter. You're going to see here, doesn't matter at all. The enemy ships that were over here at A, they're all gone basically. there's an Admiral Hipper, so I guess, yeah, that Admiral Hipper's at full health, so I guess that wasn't the guy I hit with that rogue torpedo last time, or at the beginning of the battle. But anyway, Admiral Hipper's over there, and I think it's in North Carolina that's remaining. Could be something bigger. Not sure. Anyway, battleship, whatever. So that's really all they have left over here on this side. Every other enemy ship is gone now, right? They're trying to do something else. They've realized that they're not going to be able to push over here on the west, and they're just in a full retreat, basically. The enemy battleship that we're looking at there, yeah, he's almost gone entirely, so that's fantastic. If only that torpedo would have hit him, right? He wouldn't even be around. But it doesn't much matter. I mean, look again at the points up here, right? Like, we're almost at victory points now. We're capping our most northern point again. The enemy just can't do anything. They threw all their ships, basically all their ships, up against the wall on the west side and just couldn't do anything. Couldn't get through. And that is really, you know, this part of the clip here is, you know, really how you would ideally want a position you would want to have and to find yourself in when you're playing a Japanese destroyer. I didn't get spotted that often. The only time I got spotted was by a random plane, or if one of their destroyers was coming in for a close strike, right? And then it worked out in my favor because I had teammates around who were able to quickly deal with that stuff. But yes, now the battle is over. Victory, obviously. Take a look at this. So here's the money I earned. The experience, I mean, I think it was ×3 during that event, so yeah, whatever. Still good though, I mean, right? Close to the Shimikaze. But look at this, over 2,000 base experience, and I didn't get a single kill. Not a single one. So all those points come from the base defense and capturing the base. Turns out, you know, 178,000 credits, that's not too bad at all. Any sort of positive number in tier 9 is always welcome. Anyway, that's today's video. Do hope you guys enjoyed it. You know, as always, leave any comments you have for me there in the comment section below. Love reading those comments, taking a look at them, responding back. Hit the old like button if you did like today's video as well. What else? Hit subscribe if you're not a subscriber. And yeah, as always, I do hope you enjoy the rest of the day.